working, but I didn't know if it was working before. Just saw the Speaker of the House, not very good. But I was asking if Humza was finished, and it looks like Humza might well be finished. Let's see if you get live chat. Top chat, is it top chat? I'm not actually sure which one goes. So, yeah, I don't know what was happening there. I was getting blocked as usual, and we'll just start again. The Greens looked like they were sucking lemons. They looked like they had lost a fiver. Let me just straighten this up. Lost a tenner and found a fiver. Is that straight? I think that's it straight. Today, with their not being able to get chauffeured about, with their green energy chauffeur-driven limousines and their extra pensions and their extra salary, getting booted out by the SNP. Oh, that's your tease out, as they say in Scotland. Tease out, game's a bogey. Pack up your stuff and off you go. So Humza was pulled in by the SNP members, the SNP hierarchics, and they were probably told them in no uncertain terms, we are ending the deal with the Greens before the Greens end the deal with us through the gay Greens, the bum boy and scissoring Greens. And they said, oh no, we're going to end it with SNP because we can't put puberty blockers into children and make them sterile and chop off parts of their bodies to kid on the opposite sex. And then we've got to take that all very seriously. But that's not conversion therapy. Saying to a gay person, maybe, well, we've got a declining population, what are you going to do as part of the LGBTQ community plus to actually prevent us having a declining birth rate? Obviously, if you get penisophobia and you're a woman, that's quite tricky, like Wee Spinning Jenny. Wee Spinning Jenny, I'll come on to Wee Spinning Jenny and their fantastic additions to pronouns, but falling down the PISA tables in schools at a later date. But, I don't know whether they got up here. Let's see, will we go up? The one of the thing is, maybe we should go up here. Will we move up here? Let's go up here. See if anybody's coming out here. Let's see here. So, we'll just stand here. Let me see if we can get this balanced again. You have to rebalance it every time. Right. So, Spinning Jenny, Wee Spinning Jenny. Don't like this. Let's move over here. Wee Spinning Jenny with Hamas Useless is... oh yeah, that's great, fantastic. You're great, Humza. You're great, terrific. Yeah, we're all going to lose our seats as MPs down here because Humza Useless is rubbish. Oh, are you? Oh, right, I see. Well, we better get rid of the Greens to start off with because they're absolutely diabolic in their in all the policies. Everyone's failed. The protected fisheries, the transing kids. I mean, everything has been something that if they hadn't have been there or hadn't done anything, it would put Scotland probably be a better place. And that's as of the Greens. And then you've got Hamas Useless, who thinks he's the First Minister of Gaza. And now, so he's been marched in today, and the SNP have said, right, Useless, we're going to stop the thing with the Greens because just now Labour are ahead of us, and all we're going to lose, and probably to the high teens, maybe 18, we're going to only have 18 MPs left. We're going to lose dozens of MPs from our high watermark. because of your fantastic tutelage. Oh, you've done such a great job, Humza. We're massively now Labour's overtaken us, and they're just as Count Dankula, the Duke of Cumbernauld, said, out the frying pan into the frying pan. Not really much of a change. So he's been hoodwinked. He's been told you're going to do as you're told, or you're going to be looking for another job, Humza. But I don't think that I think that's just the salvo. Last night with the stupid rape laws where it was going to be only done by a judge so they can interfere in it, not to mention the fact that they're in a position where they're getting accused of gerrymandering and orchestrating false sexual allegations against a former First Minister. And now they're trying to bring in this new law, which Kate Forbes in a wee rebellion of Padawan stood up against, which credit to her. And now the next day, after him nearly getting defeated in the Parliament with Anis Sarwar, backing him on 80% of the bills that he brought through. So there's no difference between the policies that Anis would have brought in and the policies that Hamas Useless would have brought in. Both the same, both allegedly from drug dealing families that might have killed countless people from heroin dealing, one in Dundee and one in Glasgow or throughout Scotland allegedly. So we've now got a Hamas Useless. Old Humza is now on a shaky peg. On a shaky peg, he's now potentially going to get kicked out as leader, because it's not just the Greens that's the problem with the SNP. The problem with the SNP is also the policies that they've been bringing in, the commie policies they've been bringing in for the last 10 years that haven't been working, have been stupid, have been idiotic. Since Alex Salmond was a far better politician than both Useless and Nippy. He's far better politician, but he at least brought in sensible and was able to govern properly. Those two coconuts have absolutely destroyed Scotland. Oh, give you baby boxes? Absolutely. So you're going to tax me and then give me back my money how you want me to get my money back, in the form of you deciding what I require in a baby box, although you, as an alleged lesbian, have never had any children. Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That's just totally sensible. And now we've got Hamas Useless. So losing the vote yesterday, and now today he's been told to ditch the Greens. Oh, the Greens are fantastic, they're our friends. I was at that rally the other day. I'll come on to the rally later on. That rally was like something out of Red Square, although it was all salt tires. That was communist wall to wall, certainly between communism and social democrats, but probably with a much greater emphasis. I didn't realise there was that standing for communism, especially in Glasgow. And I'm talking about Marxist communism. I'm not talking about socialism. My family, I come from a socialist background. But they probably wouldn't have put up with Marx being a mass murderer. But it seems, Marx, it was only under Stalin, there was a few people killed. But every jurisdiction that Marxist principles were put in, there was mass murder. Every one of them, including Islam as well. So we're now going to see Hamas Useless getting his marching orders. There will now, I think, he's now lost his authority. If he struggles on to next year, so he's now got the general election probably October, which are still going to get decimated because he's the problem and they haven't dealt with him as the problem. they're still going to get decimated. Might see a slight change getting rid of the dough balls and the greens, but they're not going to. They're not. It's not going to be a change, and I don't think the poll numbers. We're still going to see Labour outperforming them because they still haven't come to the main problem, which is Humza, and they had the opportunity to get Kate Forbes, which would have been much better for the SNP and Kate Forbes, and for the polling. But oh no, we're going to gerrymander with the alleged criminal Peter Morrell in charge the vote so that Humza gets it. And what is it, as the Minister of Gaza, he's done a great job for Scotland. What a complete waste of time he has been. Visionless, clueless. And now he's been overturned. He was nearly overturned. I don't think he's going to get his justice reform bill through, and I don't think he's going to get his. I think that'll be overturned. It nearly did go through last night, and I think he's going to. He's now had the Greens overturned. He's been marched in this morning. The SNP have said to him, "We're not going to wait." Until the gay Greens tell Mr Magoo and Horseyface that they're not going to allow you to be part of the coalition anymore, and they're going to separate it instead of us separating it. And now Mr Magoo and Horseyface faces on the back benches look so pissed off. So they've obviously now got an axe to grind with the SNP. So if the SNP don't get decimated, which I think they're still on course because Humza's the problem, they've not dealt with the underlying problem. Humza's the problem. They're going to get in October when the Westminster elections are. They could lose the next budget and not get the next budget through, which means they would have to call an election, not getting the next budget through unless Anus helps his pal Hamas Useless stay in power till the Scottish elections, where they're going to get decimated again in here, where I might be standing myself. So only a matter of time. So he's been seen by the public, by everybody concerned, as a serial loser. His name's Humza Hamas Useless. He thinks he's the First Minister of Gaza. He's now brought in stupid all his legislations need to be overturned over a period of time, including the hate crime bill. That was stupid as. Blocked up, the police car just went past, blocked up police resources. Now he's juryless trials for sexual allegations where his predecessor is alleged to have made false sexual or orchestrated false sexual allegations against him, which is now still to have a civil trial that's impending. And now he's had this partnership with these Greens are really great, giving kids puberty blockers and chopping off their genitals, but complaining about conversion therapy from a wee weirdo like Mr Magoo and Horseyface from Canada. So we have. I think it's only a matter of time. They're all. It's only a matter of time. There seemed to be more level heads within the SNP to get it to the stage where they suddenly woke up and had an epiphany. Today, he's absolutely finished, mate. Take a week or two. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. That Preston journalist. Exactly, mate. That's exactly correct. Exactly correct. It does take a time. Don't forget, when I stood here and told you that Nicola Sturgeon was going to have to resign from the Parliament, and I told you why, that the Hamilton report has still not been released, and the Hamilton report still not been released, and I would have probably been right 3 years ago that she should have resigned 3 years before. because she had broken the ministerial code, which she didn't, and then they redacted parts, and they still haven't released the full and unimpeded Hamilton report. And I was right away back then. I mean, how many times do I need to get it right? How many times do I have to predict? Nobody else is saying that Humza's going to go just now. I'll be the first one to say Humza's finished. Humza, as that Preston journalist said, Humza has only got a matter of days, weeks. The SNP have already said you're not up to it. The SNP generality has said to Humza, we're not putting up with this any longer, and your authority as our leader has now been compromised. So by the compromisation of his leadership, we already knew he was a weak leader. I mean, that went without saying, but he is now compromised within the party. And by him being compromised within the party, if he's compromised with the people he's meant to be working with, why would anybody else who probably don't have the same feelings or appeal of Humza to him will not think he's not now compromised? And thereby not having to go. So this is it. This is him finished. That's him. He's done. Whether it's just now or a week's time or 2 weeks' time, I don't think he's going to make the general election. I don't think he's going to make the general election. So if the general election, like Rishi, Rishi's going to have big problems coming up as well. The SNP have got between now and the general election to get probably Kate Forbes in as the most competent individual. But I don't think he'll make probably the next few weeks. I don't think they're going to be able to ride out this and what's going to happen now. And they already have compromising stuff about Humza, from whether it be what his knowledge of the fake sexual setup with Alex Salmond, or what he knew. He was backing the Greens for this thing and now it's not working, or backing the Murrells, Nicola Sturgeon, and now they look like a bunch of crooks, allegedly. And he's all involved in that. It's only going to take a wee bit chipping away to either for external forces to force him out, or internal forces, or a combination and or both to force him out. And a similar thing will happen to it. Not exactly the same, obviously, but a similar thing will happen to Rishi when they get Conservatives get screwed at the May elections down south. He's finished as well. Finished. I don't think either one of them going to see the next general election. Never mind Rishi will be out after in the next general election. So will Humza. But I don't even know if Humza's going to see the next few days. He's already been politically compromised by the Greens, going, the Greens are great. But the Greens brought in every stupid policy that didn't go through, and will have to be reversed. It's absolutely wall-to-wall dough balls. Wall-to-wall dough balls. They're now internally within the Greens talking about getting rid of. They're talking about getting rid of Harvey and Lorna Slater, and also wee Fanta Pants. We beta blockers. we sex hormone blockers. Gear. So that's I think he's taking them. They're all talking about now an internal feud within the Greens. All of the Green commies are going to go. All the ones that want to do strange things to children through the education system and homosexualise everything. Only 4% of people are gay and even a smaller percentage are trans or think they're trans. And I don't know what would happen if you gave a boy who thinks a girl like testosterone and increase the testosterone instead of giving female Fanta pants. Fanta pants. Oh, yeah, wee Fanta pants. Wee Fanta pants, which gear, Ross gear. Beta block, I keep calling them beta blockers. Sex hormone blockers gear. I think they're going to get rid of them as well. So they might not even get the next Scottish election as well, because there seems to be a coup happening internally within the Green Party. So it was good to see a culling of a lot of useless MSPs. I don't think it's going to stop there. Don't think it's going to stop there by any stretch of the imagination. But the big one is going to be Humza. Big one's going to be Humza. Humza can't survive this. Humza's going to get walked into a room of senior SNP like he did this morning. But what happened this morning was rushed. What happened, the senior SNP said, we are not going to be outdone by the Greens. And if the Greens are going to have a vote in it just now, we're going to tell you right now that this is finished, this is done. We're not going to play second fiddle to the gay Greens doing a vote in this. We're out. So you'll cancel the agreement that you said was fantastic. Oh, it's a great agreement. Oh, the Greens are great, and we've been having to live under a bunch of tranny commies for the last 7 years, or at least 4 years. The tranny commie party have been dominating in here. But it's not the transgender and the gender nonsense is now starting to overcome, from J.K. Rowling to Graham Linehan. They've been vilified and now through their perseverance have become successful in the fact that normies who haven't been really paying attention have started to understand their side of their side of the debate, and they've basically overturned the 694 genders and all the commie gay crap that's coming out of the WEFT agenda. So don't think this isn't centralised. This is happening all of the various countries in the West, and we've already got a declining birth rate. So I don't know how the promotion of homosexuality is going to improve that declining birth rate. I don't know if the LGBT are suddenly going to some way start producing children, because I'm pretty sure if you promote homosexuality, you're not going to promote heterosexuality, was how we actually increase a decrease in birth rate, which is what we require. We don't require female CEOs, we require more babies in the West, rather than population replacement, which seems to be the only idea the doughballs in the so-called Scottish National Party have got. I'll come back to that later on. So, I'm giving it decline in birth rate because I've retired. Okay, Shagger. That's Humza Yousaf's name, Shagger. So, I think we're going to have him resign. I think he's only got a matter of days. They've already walked him in a room, say your Green SNP coalitions out the window. It's affecting our polling ratings. That is affecting the polling ratings, but if you don't understand that Humza is the one that's affecting your polling ratings, then you're still not going to see any change in the polls. And that was brought on by the failure to have a fixed SNP data on the actual number of members, and sort of gerrymandered by the Morels to get Hamas useless in a position which he shouldn't be in just now as the leader of Scotland, which was gerrymandered by a corrupt couple, i.e. the Morels, who might have stolen money from the party, who might have colluded to make false sexual allegations against Alex Salmond, who may have forged a vaccine, destroyed Scottish businesses, and killed people through some a wee, let's just say, they shouldn't have been given. You watch what I'm saying on Facebook, YouTube. And he's been gerrymandered into a position that is above him, that he's not capable of doing. My baby gorillas. Anyway, I think that Preston journalist is right. It's going to take days or weeks. But this is the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning. End of the beginning. No, I think it's the beginning of the end for Humza. And I think there'll be more and more stories that will come out to undermine his leadership now. And the undermining of the leadership will culminate in his going. I think he's rode out quite a heavy storm on the back of what Sturgeon's done. But I think what we're now going to see is him finished de facto, him not being able to hang on. And I think internally within the SNP, that's how we'll go. I may be wrong, but I'm not usually wrong, am I? My baby gorillas.